Repeat after me. Anye Hanseyo. Kamsamida. Ne. You're watching the video because you're curious about South Korea. Maybe you got stationed out there, you found out that you're going on a rotation, or maybe you're just going out there for vacation. Regardless, after coming back from being in South Korea for a year, I'm gonna tell you guys what not to do and what to do after I have learned the hard way. By the end of this video, you guys are gonna know what apps to download, what places to go, what foods to eat, what foods to not eat, and just overall how to have a good time in South Korea. And by the end of the video, I'm gonna tell you guys how your boy became a South Korean icon, in my opinion. What's up guys, I'm Aaron. I think I was. You be the judge, let me know in the comments below. If you're stationed in Korea right now, put down in the comments where you're stationed at and how you're liking it right now, what the people should know, what the people should not know, or what the people should not do. For all my military folks, whether you're Army, Navy, Marines, this is going to apply to you. So South Korea is a pretty cool duty station. I'm sure you guys have heard all the things about South Korea, and they very much are true. But this is pretty much how it's gonna work for most of you guys, if not all of you guys. And so if you're in the Army specifically, this is what's gonna apply to you. It's probably gonna be very similar if you're in any other branch, but E6 and below, if you guys go to Korea unaccompanied, you're most likely going to be staying in the barracks unless there's some other circumstance. And the barracks are pretty decent. They're barracks. You're going to get a roommate most likely, but you guys are lucky. Most of the barracks will have elevators. And if you guys go to South Korea accompanied, because you can bring your spouse, if that applies to you, you guys can get on-post housing or off-post housing. And I'm not going to lie to you boys, off-post housing in Korea is absolutely beautiful, and it's very nice for the price that you pay. Also, if you guys go to South Korea unaccompanied and you're below the rank of E6 or you don't have any reason to have a car, you're not gonna have a car. So you're gonna be walking all around Korea, or you're gonna be using public transportation. You guys can get a scooter or a personal device to transport, but you guys have to follow the rules and you guys will have to register it. I'm sure you guys heard of Camp Humphreys already. Camp Humphreys is the main base in South Korea. It's actually the biggest base outside of the continent of the United States of America for the United States military. And that's pretty much gonna be your central hub for pretty much every branch that's gonna be in South Korea. And then from Camp Humphreys, you guys are gonna go to your other bases. And so there's Area 4, Area 1, Area 3. And you guys will know what base you guys are going to once you guys go to Camp Humphreys first. As of right now, and the time when I was in Korea, there was no curfew. And so hopefully it stays that way unless somebody messes it up. If you guys are in the military, do not get in trouble, because what I'm about to say is going to be the very reason why you guys will most likely get in trouble. Do not go beat up cab drivers. And since the drinking age in Korea is lower than the United States of America, just because you're under the age of 21, don't think you can drink. No, you guys cannot drink still. And if you guys are caught, you're going to get UCMJ action. And so pretty much how it works is out of uniform, acting crazy, and it's just a wild time. On top of that though, there is no travel restrictions if you guys are actually PCSing there. So you guys can also go to Thailand, Bali, and all the other countries around South Korea, because I went to Thailand, I went to Bali. It was amazing. Stay tuned for that vlog. And also, you guys will be working with South Korean service members. They're called Katusas. Some of you guys will even train with the Roka Army, which is the South Korean actual army. Cool experiences. If you guys don't know what a Katusa is, it's basically a South Korean service member basically acting as a liaison to American and South Korean military. They're going to speak English and Korean, and these are your go-to guys. And no, there's actually no girls. So yeah, these are going to be your go-to guys to go to when you guys are trying to find stuff off post or trying to translate Hangul into English. So treat them nice. My overall advice for a military going into South Korea: have fun, do all the things, do not stay in your barracks, but don't get in trouble. Save your money. You guys can actually save a bunch of money. You guys will be getting paid COLA, which is just extra money for being stationed overseas. And you guys will have the chance to save $10,000, $20,000 if you guys do it right, make a budget and just stick to it. Also, definitely embed yourself in the culture. Work with your Katusus, volunteer for a lot of stuff. As you guys saw, I got my ass kicked by the South Korean Special Forces trying to do their PT. So yeah, that happened, but it was low-key dope. I'm not gonna lie. Before I tell you guys what you need to know to be successful in South Korea, we must understand the history of South Korea. So, South Korea used to be a colony of Japan. After World War II, they were not a colony of Japan anymore. Then the North Korea and South Korea went to war. They still are at war, which is why every male in South Korea has to do mandatory service in one of the armed forces for a little over a year. And in case you didn't know, South Korea is a very conservative country, very respectful, based off of Confucianism. And if you don't know what that is, it's pretty much very respectful. Elders are treated with the utmost respect. Education is prioritized. It's not an individualistic society. We are thinking about others, which is why in the video you guys are gonna kind of make sense to things like why is the transportation the way it is. So keep watching to find out. South Korea has all 4 seasons. Your boy was cold when it was winter and your boy was hot when it was the summer. And these summers are very hot and humid. And I'm talking, you walk outside for a minute and you're sweating, so be prepared. And when you're in South Korea during the summertime, you're going to see everyone else wearing these things, which is very weird, but I'll explain later on in the video. And remember, wherever you come from, you are an ambassador to not only the country, but also your ethnicity, whatever color you're wearing, whatever shoes you're wearing. When you go to South Korea and you are a foreigner, you are representing everyone else who looks like you. So if I myself go to South Korea as a black guy, as a black dude, and a South Korean person has never seen a black person before, after I interact with them, whether I'm nice or I'm mean, most likely they're going to think all other black people are like me. So when you go to South Korea, when you go wherever, keep that in the back of your mind. Be on your best behavior, because the next person that looks like you is going to come to South Korea and they may be treated unfairly because of some a-hole was acting like an a-hole. And now South Korea's opinion of that person, or you know what I'm saying? So act on your best behavior. All right, so when you first get to Korea, you're going to notice some things. First off, South Korea is pretty mountainous. It's like very mountainous. It's pretty cool. The sights are very beautiful. The trees are very luscious and the mountains are high. But unfortunately, that just makes the rest of the area small for people to actually build houses and malls and stuff. And so South Korea is about the size of Indiana. And so when you add all those mountains, you're not going to have a lot of space to build houses and cities and stuff like that. So you're going to notice South Korea is pretty skyscraper abundant. So you're going to be out driving in the middle of nowhere country and then boom, Manhattan or Brooklyn type of sky rises just in the middle of nowhere. And that's just going to be a completely normal thing because in South Korea, they have to build up instead of left or to the right. Another thing you're going to notice is that there's CCTV cameras everywhere. South Korea is a pretty conservative country / pretty strict. The laws are the laws, no ifs, ands, or buts, and they will track you down and they will catch you. So do not do anything stupid in South Korea because they do not play. Another thing is South Korean people love to smoke cigarettes. And so when you're out and about, you're going to see a bunch of South Koreans just standing around in the corners or just walking around with a cigarette in their hand. Completely normal. And on top of that, the South Korean attire is pretty business casual / formal, I would say, compared to American culture, which I kind of like because everybody's pretty much well put together. And then you got the, the obvious hip hop inspired trends and stuff like that. But for the most part, everybody's very well dressed. And if they're not well dressed, you're going to notice that they wear very baggy jeans, like very baggy 80s, 70s baggy jeans, fitting a shotgun down there or something. I don't know. You guys may also see males wearing pale makeup in South Korea in their culture. Pale is one of the things that people do here. And I'm not going to go much into it, but that's just something that you'll notice, that males may put on makeup to make themselves look paler. And then on top of that, in the summertime, which really got me, is even when it's really hot outside, they're going to wear long sleeve clothes and cover every inch of their skin. So I talked to a Korean person and they say that it's due to sun cancer because the sun can be pretty hot. So protect yourself. Wear sunscreen. Don't be out in the sun for too long. On top of that, when you go to beaches, you're gonna be looking at a sea of people also still covered from head to toe. You might be the only one in a bikini. Bikinis aren't really a thing here in Korea. It's like very conservative, very formal. Now to the part that you really want to know, all the things that's going to frustrate you when you get to South Korea, because these are the things that frustrated me. Number one, the language barrier. In South Korea, they speak Hangul. And if you don't know what that is, and if you don't bother learning it, you're going to have a hard time trying to communicate and articulate yourself in South Korea.
미쳤다. Crazy. 미쳤다.
Yes, translate apps may work, but they may also not work. And so one of the points you're going to get frustrated with is when either you're trying to communicate and the other person is having no idea what you're saying because that English word that you're trying to translate into Korean doesn't have a word for it. And so you're confused, they're confused. Do not get frustrated, do not get fed up. Just try to have somebody who speaks Korean and English and have them articulate for you, or draw a picture or point or do something. But the last thing you should do is get frustrated at the person who speaks the native tongue in their native country as a foreigner. Like, no, bro, don't do that. Always keep in the back of your head that you are a guest in somebody else's house. And although Korean people are very respectful, do not take that for granted. Number two, you are going to get frustrated because of the way Korean people do Korean things. You gotta remember, always keep in the back of your head, you are not in wherever you came from. The way Korean people have their markets set up is how they want to. And so one of the things that I've noticed is that you don't really have like a Walmart. Although there's stores like Daegu and Home Goods, I still could not find my Target, Walmart, or any other American supermarket or store that has it all in Korea. It's like you looking for something very specific, you just go to Walmart back in the States, but in Korea you kind of have to go to like a very specific store for that very specific item. On top of that, you have to pay for bags. Luckily, I was in New York for a while, so I'm used to paying for plastic bags, but you guys might not be used to having to pay for plastic bags whenever you get done grocery shopping. And so be prepared to either pay for a bag or bring your own bag. And it sucks, I'm not gonna lie, it sucks sometimes and it's gonna be frustrating. Also, on top of that, South Korea is very environmental friendly. The pollution is not the best, and the air quality is also not the best. So bear that in mind, help do your part, and save the environment. The third thing that was kind of frustrating for me, and it's definitely going to be frustrating for you, is that you are going to get stared at, especially if you do not look the part of a South Korean. And so as a black dude, you feel me? I got stared at, but nobody was ever racist to me. Nobody ever jeered at me or called me any type of slur. And I was just like, yeah, I'm black and I'm in South Korea where it's predominantly pale skin or, you know, people who don't look like me. So obviously I'm going to stick out like a sore thumb. So people are going to stare at you. It's all good. Don't take offense to it. And talking to my Katusas, you foreigners also stare at them and they also notice it too. It's no harm, no foul. It's just natural when you don't really see something too often. Of course, you're going to look. When was the last time you seen a Ferrari? And then you actually see a Ferrari. You're going to take a look at it for a couple seconds. The next thing that I was frustrated with was not having a car. If you're in the military and you're below a certain rank and you're not married, you're not going to have a car. And it's going to suck because you're going to have to walk everywhere. Back in the States where it's pretty car dependent, you feel free. But in South Korea, you're going to have to rely on public transportation or somebody else's car. And it's going to suck. You're not going to feel as independent, but you will survive. It's just going to limit your little radius capabilities by a little bit, but you'll be okay. The next frustration that I had was getting around. Although most Korean apps are English friendly, there are some words that just don't translate well to the English language. Say you copy an address off of online Google. Also, Google doesn't work in Korea, by the way. Like Google Maps doesn't work. That's another thing that's frustrating. But say you copy this address online and you paste it in the app that I share later on in the video, it's not going to translate well. And so that's going to be kind of annoying because you're like, what the F? I can't really get this app off of TikTok because it's Cool Cafe. No. It's frustrating. You're going to have to talk to somebody who speaks Korean, unfortunately. And the last frustration I would say is the lack of trash cans. Like I said, South Korea is very environmental friendly. I really wish there was a trash can nearby. That's another thing about Korea. There's not a lot of trash cans. You just kind of find a garbage bag on the street and you just put it in there. All right, so here you go, boys. So you bring it back out with you. You know, you gonna carry that thing until you find the nearest trash can, which I don't know how long that will be. So you're in South Korea. I already told you what you guys are gonna see and what you guys are gonna be frustrated with. Now I'm going to tell you guys everything you need to have in terms of apps, internet, how to get around. And so for cell phones, there's KT or there's LG. I personally chose KT. The service was pretty good, even on military bases. You could choose LG, but KT is a little bit cheaper. And then for internet, I use LG. Works phenomenal. There's different tiers you could buy, but I did not use my cell phone service provider from the States. It just wasn't as fast and it was very expensive. So I just really bought a whole new SIM card with a Korean cell phone provider and I was fine, and I just terminated it before I left. All good, all done. You guys are going to, it's not an if, it's a when you guys use the subway or any type of public transportation here, because South Korea just designed their public transportation so efficient and so well that like you want to use it and it's clean and you're not going to be robbed or mugged, because South Korea is very safe. And so you're going to need a T-Money card, and you're going to get that at any local 7-Eleven or any local convenience store, E-Mart. And you're just gonna ask them for a T-Money card, and you're gonna have to put won on it. That's what the currency is. The currency looks like this. And yeah, you're just gonna basically use it as like a bus pass, but it can be used in taxis, buses, subways, trains, and yeah, it's pretty crazy. Next, this is pretty important. You're going to need a translate app. I personally use Google Translate, or there's another app called Papa Jail. I probably pronounced that terribly wrong, but I have it up on the screen. Download these two apps, and you will need these apps whenever you're trying to translate your English into Korean when you're trying to communicate with people. And if you guys are trying to get around, you guys are gonna have to download Waze or Naver. And then also, if you guys want to get a taxi, there's the Kakao T taxi app, which is pretty good. And then there's also another taxi app strictly for military bases also. And then payment, you guys can use your credit card most likely everywhere, or you guys can use Korean won. American dollars aren't really accepted unless it's like directly off post in the Ville, which I will talk about later. And so you guys remember when I said Korea is a very conservative and respectful country? Yeah, so when it comes to their cultures and customs, that applies here as well. So you're gonna see Koreans bow to each other whenever they're greeting or yelling farewell to each other. And when they're handing something or receiving something, they're going to use two hands and repeat after me. 감사합니다, that means thank you, and 안녕하세요, and that means hello. That's pretty much some of the greetings here that you will see in Korea. And so it's pretty cool, it's different. I definitely got my bow on. It was pretty dope. I felt cool, I felt ingrained in the culture. One thing you will like in Korea is that there's no tipping culture in Korea. And so some people take tipping in Korea as pretty disrespectful. So I wouldn't even do it. And you might be wondering, Aaron, what about the weekend culture? What about the alcohol? And I'm pleased to say that the weekend culture is pretty cool. It's pretty lit in Korea. Don't get too lit though, to the point where you're in jail or you're in Russia in jail. But in Korea, the clubs do not close. The drinks are not as expensive as the United States. Don't go overboard. But the clubs do not close, and so they will be usually open at around 10 until sun up. And it's crazy. My first time doing that, it was wild, but pretty fun. Also, soju is pretty cheap, but drink responsibly, because soju is one of those drinks where you're not going to know you're drinking too much until it's too late. Two important things about the weekend culture in Korea. One, some clubs do not take foreigners. Some clubs might just say no. You might take it as offensive, but you know what I'm saying? It's their country, their rules. They will not accept you in at all. There are some clubs that are for Koreans only. Respect it. You can't really do anything. You could complain and moan, but it is what it is. Two, juicy girls. There's some girls or bar girls who come from different countries, and their job is to serve you at the bar, which is completely fine. Don't get attached. Don't get don't fall in love with these girls because they want your money and they will soak all of it by the end of the night and you're just gonna look stupid. So don't be looking stupid. And before I tell you where to go, I have to tell you how to get there. And so transportation is pretty simple. You guys can literally follow the neighbor map and it's gonna show you all the directions. Buying a train ticket is easy. You can do it on your phone. Getting on the bus is easy, especially if you have that T-Money card. Getting a taxi is pretty easy. And so all you have to do is just put the address in your neighbor map or whatever, and it's like Google, and it just directs you wherever you go. And most subway and train stations have English little subtitles, so you're gonna be a-okay. And so where I recommend you boys going is definitely Seoul, Daegu, Busan, Jeju Island. Hit up all those spots, hit up the Lotte Tower. And so there's a restaurant called Maple Top. Very good, very delicious. Tell James Aaron sent you. But Korea is a very beautiful place. Go hiking, go to Apsan Mountain. In Korea, there's lots and lots of cafes, and also in Seoul, there's lots of beauty places where you can go to get your skin routine squared away, your own perfume you can make. There's just so many freaking cool things to do that I really can't even say them all in this video. You just gotta go out and explore. But I really recommend you guys go out, go to a soccer game, go to a baseball game. There's so many cool things to do in Korea. And the food is amazing, made fresh to order. I like the bulgogi. I like the Korean fried chicken. I like the kimbap. And so go out there, live your life, and enjoy Korea. And now, as I promised, this is the story of how your boy became a Korean pop star, in my opinion. And so, as you all know, I have this YouTube channel, and I have been watched by South Korean military members from my very early beginning of the army. Like, seriously, I haven't reacted to it yet, but insert clip of South Korean military members watching and reacting to me, calling me a Ninja Turtle.
닌자 터틀 같아요, 닌자 터틀. 오!
I don't know how I feel about that. Let me know in the comments below how you guys feel about that. But I got invited to react to some military videos as well. Me and my boy Moore went down.
What's up, guys? I'm Aaron. I'm currently in South Korea serving in the United States Army. I've been here for about 8 months now. I'm originally from Zion, Illinois. If you guys don't know where that's at, that's in Chicago, USA. You guys know the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan, so you guys know where that's at.
And we reacted to videos, and we also ate a famous dish called budae-jjigae. You guys will hear about it a lot when you guys go to Korea.
You guys know what we're eating today?
Budae-jjigae. And we got to eat it and react to it, tell them how we felt about it. And the video got over 600,000 views, baby boy. So you tell me how many people you know are getting that amount of views. And that's the story of how your boy became famous in South Korea. But my overall thoughts about South Korea: beautiful country. The people are very respectful, and they're very keep to themselves, and they're not going to go out their way to bother you unless they're trying to scam you. That's one thing in Korean culture, is somebody who's Korean that's coming up to you is not really a good sign, because Koreans don't do that. That's not in their culture. So even Koreans will steer clear of people doing that to them. And so if you guys try to talk to Koreans, they will ignore you some of the times, unless you guys get like a meeting beforehand or something like that. If this is your first duty station and you're not in any combat MOS, or you're not in any air defense artillery, please take advantage of Korea. Volunteer for everything. Get as much rewards as you can, because for me, in my opinion, Korea was the easiest duty station I've been to. It was fun. I've learned a lot. It helped my career. But if you ask me, is this what the real army is like? I would say no, because Fort Drum, New York, I'm not going to say has haunted me, but I would say going to a force comm unit is the definition I would give somebody of what the real army is. And so if Korea is your first duty station, do not complain. I better not hear you complaining about what the army is like, because if you're complaining in Korea, you got a rude awakening coming. So that's all I got for you boys. If you guys want to watch me live in South Korea, come with me on all the journeys that I've done in South Korea. Watch all these videos, because I've vlogged a lot in South Korea. But stay tuned, like the video, comment down your favorite part, comment down whatever you want. Peace out.